So, Jason, we're going to be talking about electric cars. What are your thoughts on electric cars?
I think it's a future that we're being, kind of pushed towards.
I think so too. But do you think that they're getting quite expensive?
I feel like it's getting like cost cheap, like it's going down.
Well, if you think that you are right,
Oh,
and I say that because Xiaomi releases an electric
mm.
car 4K cheaper than the Tesla's Model 3 as price wars heat up in China. What are your thoughts?
I think that I didn't know they made cars.
Yes, and you would be right because Chinese smartphone company Xiaomi
Okay.
said Thursday it will sell its first car for far less than the Tesla's Model 3 as price wars heat up in China because there's ferocious competition in the electric market over there.
That is a fact.
Yeah, so Xiaomi CEO Lei Jun said the standard version of the SU7 will sell for 213 yuan, or about $30,000 in that country.
Mm.
A price he acknowledged would mean the company was selling each car at a loss. So that's the crazy part about all this.
Like, where are they going to make their money back?
Yes, that is also the crazy part about this.
Because they don't want money.
No, they do not want money. But I do have a couple of things to say more about this. But before
Okay.
that, if you like interesting videos like this, consider subscribing. We put out interesting videos daily. We have a library of over 300 videos. And the thing is, subscribing is free. It doesn't cost anything. And it does really help out the channel. So consider
Yep.
subscribing. So the thing is, like I mentioned, $30,000. It's
Hmm.
going to be cheaper than the Tesla Model 3 because when comparing it, yes, the SU7 will sell for 215,000 yuan, but the Tesla
Yeah.
Model 3 starts off at 245,000 won in China.
I think that they are going about this wrong.
Oh, really?
Yes. I think that the whole issue is that if you're going to buy even the cheapest electric car like this one, it's still a big investment for people to buy a car in general.
Yeah, 30,000 is a lot of money, by the way.
But if you hear that's like, oh, it's so cheap, it's like if you're only thinking about, oh, it's cheaper than the other one, yes, but you have to also think about this company hasn't been making cars for that long. Like how long?
Hmm.
Like maybe they're not going to be able to make cars like
In the
in
future,
the
yeah.
future or update your car if they go under or like they don't make cars anymore. Then like, well, now I'm stuck with this car and no
Yeah.
updates.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy that first off they're selling this car at a loss.
I
that,
feel like a lot of places are too.
but then it got me thinking. The margins are so slim on these electric cars. Then, if what's it called? I believe the only people making a profit off of these cars in China right now are
Mm.
Tesla, and I think it's like BYD.
Mm.
But yes, the price war right now is very ferocious in that market.
Yeah, I mean, because I do think that, as everybody knows, people are very price sensitive all around the world.
Hmm.
So I think the issue is now that they're trying to, it's like a race to the bottom in terms of price. And in that case, like nobody wins
Yeah.
because it's like, well, you could be buying a Tesla, but then, it's way more expensive,
Hmm.
but then if Tesla wants to maintain dominance or like a competitive edge in that market, they have to either show that they have a better, like a superior product by a significant margin or lower the prices.
Yes, and the thing is, Lei claimed the standard version of the SU7 beat the Model 3 on more than 90% of its specifications,
Okay.
except on two aspects that he said it might take Xiaomi at least 3 to 5 years to catch up with Tesla on. He also said that the SU7 had a minimum driving range of 700 kilometers, nearly 435 miles, versus the Model 3's 606 kilometers. So yes, it is crazy. They did launch pre-orders on March 12th, and
Yeah.
I think they actually received like thousands of pre-orders for this car. I believe it
Mm,
was about like 80,000 pre-orders.
really?
Yes. So
Which
the
is kind of wild considering that, it's such a big purchase and they only made one.
Yeah, that is
so
true.
far.
They only made one. Um, uh, so deliveries are set to start by the end of April. He said. Lay also,
Really?
yeah, it's so fast. Deliveries are set to start by the end
Mm.
of April. He said. Lay also claimed that Xiaomi car factory, for which all key steps are fully automated, can produce an SU7 every 76 seconds. And it was not immediately clear whether the factory was fully operational. And earlier this week, Xiaomi CEO said on social media the SU7 would be the best sedan under 500,000 won or $69,000. There's a lot of claims, a lot of
There's a
big
lot of
claims here.
claims. The thing is that if you're a business mind, or like if you just take 1 inch back, not even a step, and you think about it, it's like, where did this factory come from? You know,
That is true.
like that's suddenly like weird. Like, wasn't that factory making smartphones? Like, well, yeah, these machines can do a lot of things,
Yeah.
including make an entire car. It's like, wait, what?
They could do anything in these factories. And the key thing that they said here, by the way, is for which all key steps are fully automated. So
I don't know.
that's crazy if he's saying that.
I mean, in the Tesla line, like a lot of it is automated.
That's exactly why it's so crazy. It's like you're going and saying it's like, hey, our factory rivals that of Tesla's, which they've been working like so hard to manufacture.
The crazy thing I also think is that I honestly wonder whether or not they just bought a factory from someone else, like a BYD and Neo, some other Chinese car brand. Like they must have like
I think they must have.
because to get it up to speed that quickly, it must have been like another, or they're contracting out. Because I do know a lot of cars do just like rebadge a car,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, this is our car now, and just put your badge on it. It's like, oh.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I mentioned, March 12th were the pre-order launch, and then deliveries start at the end of April. That's such a short time frame. But yes, the car is entering a fierce competition market in China, which many of us know, where
Yeah.
companies are launching a slew of new models and cutting prices in order to survive. Even Tesla did price cuts there too.
They got in big trouble the last time they did a price cut because people who just bought a car
Oh yeah, I
were
saw that. Yeah.
upset. They came and like tried to like they rioted at the store saying that they wanted a refund.
Because it's crazy because they're like, why are you doing a price cut? Like literally
Without any like warning
Yeah, because people would have wanted the savings
for
Yeah.
the same product.
For the same product, yeah. So yes, fierce competition in China, where companies are launching a slew of new models, cutting prices in order to survive. Chinese telecommunications giant Huawei has partnered with traditional automakers, and so it's crazy. It's getting crazy over there for these electric vehicles.
I do wonder why aren't they this consolidating in terms of like into like BYD or like Neo or the other ones that they have.
Yeah,
Because I mean, there's so many. It's like at this point, the customers are going to be split really thin, even amongst like the Chinese like consumer.
yeah.
And these are not the cheapest of cars either. Like,
No,
how
they're
many-
super expensive. Yeah, even from like U.S. standards, these are expensive cars.
Yeah, you would think like, oh well, that's so much cheaper. Like, well, I mean, I don't know.
But they're selling the cars at a loss, which is crazy.
I also don't think that's I don't think it's crazy because, to maintain the value,
They have to.
They have to.
Yeah, that's true.
so it's like, oh, otherwise it won't be a car that people would want to buy.
That is true. A couple more things to say is that Tesla's Model 3 is the best-selling new energy sedan in China that has a driving range, like I mentioned, of 372 miles and costs less than 500,000 won, according to the data from the website's Auto Home. And then sales of new energy vehicles, which include battery-only powered cars, have surged in China to account for about 1/3 of new passenger cars sold.
I think another thing is that people forget that in some ways Tesla is a Chinese brand at this point because they have a factory there that produces the cars that they're buying.
That is true. It is producing over there. I think they have like a gigafactory.
They have a
over
gigafactory that's making the cars that the Chinese consumers are buying. So it's like you're effectively helping your local car company, which is also just so happens to be Tesla.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, oh, the fact that it's owned by a U.S. company, and
Doesn't change the fact that the car is being manufactured in China.
it's employing like Chinese workers and employing like a lot of people to have the Chinese market.
Yeah, but I would want to know from our audience what they think about this. What did they think about this car manufacturer selling their cars at a loss, going through and competing with Tesla and entering this fierce market? Yeah.
I do wonder okay, lastly. I wonder how they're getting that range. There's a large amount of battery that I feel like that's why they're losing the money.
That is true.
In terms of batteries, because like if it has such a large range increase, it means there's more batteries potentially in it.
Yeah.
So that could be where they're losing a lot of the money. Is to just have that range bump, and then I'm like, okay, well that's cool and all, but
And if you've stayed this long, Xiaomi received 88,000 SU7 orders in 24 hours.
That's a lot. I mean, it's not a bad looking car.
Yeah, it's not a bad looking car. But yes, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below.